Hello, everyone. I'm Dona Sarkar. I'm the principal advocate for the Power Platform and Fusion dev teams here at Microsoft. I also focus on accessibility topics because they impact so many people. I'm dyslexic, so I have a firsthand interest in making sure that our tech is fully accessible. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to my friend Florian Behers, who's based out of the Netherlands, and he's a dev at Dexit. We're going to have a dev productivity tools throwdown because we're at Build. Hello, Florian, and welcome to Build. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello. You're coming in loud and clear.
Awesome. So please tell the audience who you are and what you do.
So I'm a developer, cybersecurity enthusiast. I do a whole lot of different things. I'm also an accessibility expert, and I consult my expertise for that. Because I'm a screen reader user, I'm fully blind, and that's how I do all these things.
See, I love this so much because not only do you use cool tech to do your job, but you share what you've learned with other people. So they can just take your best practices rather than having to go through like the test iteration, endless process that sometimes this can take. I really, really love your blog, which everyone should go and check out, by the way, and your latest article about how accessible WSL2 is. So I bet you've got a ton of really good ideas on how best to use some of our other favorite dev tools like VS Code and such.
Yeah, VS Code is definitely one I use a lot. And actually, I can show you a bit on how I go about it and how we got to the point where we are right now. Shall I do that?
Please do. That's awesome. Let's do it.
Visual Studio Code first came out, it was very inaccessible. You couldn't use it. It's pretty much what Atom is now, and this is a big crossroads where VS Code really picked up the pace and fixed it, while Atom did not. But at first, when I was asked by various people if I could use Visual Studio Code for any particular work, the answer was just a big fat no. And it had to do with like the way the accessibility was implemented. It wasn't basically nothing read. I could type here.
Hello. Blank.
And it just wouldn't read it. And if you can't edit what you're editing, you can't see what you're editing while you're trying to edit things, that makes editing a whole lot more difficult. So fast forward a couple of years to now.
Test.js, Sketch main 9 Arduino,
and we go
test.js,
to VS Code in the present here.
Blank.
And a lot of things have been done. Like it's quite a bit more accessible. I would even dare say it's quite like the most accessible programming editor on the planet currently. A lot of issues were picked up on GitHub. I participated in quite a few of them to give the screen reader user's perspective as well as the screen reader developer's perspective. And that means we now have things like autocomplete working.
Unknown. Test. Console 1 of 2.
There we go. It says control the console.
Test.js editor has
And
autocomplete.
if we hit like dot, it'll give methods.
Suggest list. List time. Test.js Denrin. Workspace. Visual Studio Code document. Unknown. Test.js Den.
It's
Test.g.
It can at times be a little bit verbose. That's still being worked on, but it definitely works.
Data. Any hint.
It gives me parameter hints, which is something I'm pretty sure not any other editor currently does on Windows, which is great. And it's really versatile because I can go into here, my extensions.
Search extensions in Marketplace editor has autocomplete multi-line Java.
And I can type any programming language, and it's just going to give me extensions for it.
The 48 extension. 476 extensions found in the Marketplace section.
And it tells me how many there were found.
Python 2021.5.840.
And here's the list of extensions. And that all works really smoothly. Like I don't really have to fight with it. And that is what makes it good, because you need to be productive with these tools. These tools are the ones you use for your job, and you can't have productivity hits when you're working with a tool for your job, because that's going to get you fired. And this is a really strong foundation for a lot of tools to build on, and tools have been building on it. So if you look, for example, at
meeting controls, Sketch main, Zoom roles, Sketch main,
Arduino here. This is the Arduino IDE, little Arduino script here. That used to be a Java program that was really like unwieldy and hard to use for screen reader users. Now it's based on VS Code. It's been quite a bit more fun to actually use, and this actually makes me want to experiment with it, play with it, see what I can actually make it do. Now it's actually usable. And that way it opens doors for people. It gives people like ways to employ themselves. It gives people ways to experiment, to learn. And speaking of learning, Codecademy and Free Code Camp are both using the editor component for VS Code called Monaco right now, which has made their platform significantly more accessible as well. So like, it can be quite the chain reaction when one of these tools gets accessible and really accessible and people start picking it up. A lot more doors start opening, and that's great. And pretty much this all happened because of the right people making the right noise at the right people at the right time, and those people picking that noise up and going with it. And essentially, that's what's happened here. We went from completely unusable to most accessible editor on the planet, and even now, that's still being worked on today. So yeah, I don't work for Microsoft. It's not. I'm not being paid to say this, but seriously, this is what's been happening here is groundbreaking.
Okay, wow. There's so much to take away and unpack from that. And I'll point out 3 things that I thought were very noteworthy. One, thank you for showing us how Screen Reader works with Visual Studio, because I think many people have never experienced that. So the way it goes through all of the things in the list and calls things out, that one was very, very interesting for me. Second one, I love that parameter hints works, because oh my gosh, what a dev productivity helper versus trying to figure out like, what were the parameters? How many are there? What should we keep in mind, etc. So glad that works. And third, I am so grateful that you're part of the Visual Studio community and you've spent all this time and effort co-creating with them to help build exactly the right tool that you need to be maximally productive as a dev. And by doing that, you've helped like millions of people all over the world. So thank you so much for all of the effort you put into on doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great journey, and I've learned a lot, but I've also like just opened a lot of doors for myself and others, which is what I ultimately aim to do. So it's been great.
That. Do you have any homework for the audience?
You've seen what like this can do. You've seen how accessible a tool can get, and I think if you all go home and work on your own tools and add this accessibility, it can be just as amazing, just as eye-opening, just as door-opening as VS Code has been. So go do that.
I love that homework, Florian, and it is so different than what anyone else has said. So our dear Build audience, look at what VS Code has done to empower more people to use their products by opening more doors, and do the same for yours. You can learn a lot about accessibility using our Microsoft Learn 5-minute learning path, aka.ms/accessibility-fundamentals. Go try it out. Thank you so much for joining us here in Studio, Florian. Have an amazing time at Build.